Carmine, a very straightforward individual whose personality is cruel and to even being somewhat sadistic. A lone wolf who doesn't even want to make any friends. He loves fighting too, and he's really good at it. He knows how to pick fights. If something is too dangerous, if he could win, or even if someone has a lot of experience just by merely looking at that said individual. He may seem crazy, but when it comes to fighting, he's pretty smart. It's not said why he's actually like this though. His past is itself a mystery. The way Carmine became an in-birth though is interesting. One night, he's doing his thing, beating people up as usual. But one person confronts Carmine and shoots a beam at Carmine that came out of his hand. However, that specific in-birth was at a disadvantage in this fight. He was new to his power, so he had no idea how to control it, whereas Carmine had a ton of knowledge when it came to fights. Carmine came out victorious against this in-birth, and what was more impressive about this situation is that he beat this in-birth without being one himself. Catching interest of this power, he interrogated this man, and the man told Carmine about the voids and about the Hollow Knight. With the knowledge that he gained, he too wanted power for himself. So, Carmine went out in search of a void and got his wish. But believe it or not, Carmine actually suffers from something you wouldn't expect from his character. He actually has self-esteem issues. He even identifies himself as part of society's trash, even going so far as to say he wouldn't mind dying on a pile of garbage. The reason why he goes out into the night now in search of fights is because he has a lot of aggression to let out. But, of course, he just loves fighting at the end of the day. Months have passed since he became an in-birth, and Carmine is still doing his nightly routine. One night, though, he encounters someone, a stranger who was also intimidated by Carmine's mere looks, and someone that Carmine identified as being weak. The name of this said individual was Roger, and Roger was the one that actually approached Carmine. He wanted to talk to Carmine, even though Carmine found him annoying. He spoke about two things. One, seeking the abyss himself, and two, what is Carmine's goal during the night. Carmine actually struggled to answer that second question, but they talked for a few more minutes before Roger took his leave. But soon after that, Carmine bumps into a child. He even thinks about attacking him at first, but stands down due to his age. The child speaks, asking Carmine if he's going to help Roger, because he was concerned about him. But before giving a proper answer, the child disappeared. Confused by this, he decided to look for this kid tomorrow. Back into the night, Carmine even starts fighting gang members who were a part of Amnesia, but he slowly grew bored of them and decided to go home. But right when that happened, the child reappeared. The name of this child was Azel, a very timid boy, and at the moment, Azel didn't remember who Carmine was. Seeing this, Carmine actually lashed out against him, accusing him that he believes he himself wasn't worth remembering. But soon after that, Azel remembered who Carmine was, and called him a nickname that Roger gave him, the Red One. And with that, Carmine grew even more irritated than before, but wanting to know how he disappeared, Carmine decided to talk to him, asking him how he did it. But Azel says back that he actually couldn't give any details about it. In return though, Azel asks Carmine a question. If he had information regarding a jewel known as the Void Red, even going as far as saying that a friend of his was looking for said jewel, which is also said to be hidden in the depths of the abyss itself. But the topic was cut short, as Carmine was struck with someone's presence and decided to leave. Azel quickly latches onto Carmine, trying his best to make him stay. Carmine obviously fights back, but this little fight or scruffle caught the attention of a specific member of Amnesia, The one who appeared before Carmine and Azel was actually Gordeau. After seeing who the presents belonged to, Carmine quickly pushed Azel out of the way to prepare to fight, but even in Carmine's head, he knew he didn't have a chance against Gordeau. Luckily, Gordeau actually stood down and simply asked if Carmine wouldn't mind joining Amnesia, but Carmine quickly declined the offer and shared his hate of working within a group. But that one question was something that Gordeau wanted to ask, so he decided to take his leave. But Carmine got the last words in the confrontation, shouting to him, saying to tell his boss that he won't hesitate to take down the organization and herself. With both characters taking their leave, Azel decides to stay back a bit and talks to Gordeau. We don't know what they spoke about, but it's safe to say he asked the same thing about the jewel, the Void Red. But soon after, Azel quickly catches up to Carmine, and the both of them walk through the city together. He even asked if Carmine was willing to fight Gordeau, but he simply says that he'll be annoyed with the fight. But again, he admits to himself he stood no chance in that kind of fight. With the night coming to an end, and Carmine going home, Carmine turns around to say goodbye to Azel. But to his surprise, Azel disappeared again.